Have you noticed your headaches getting worse lately? Or maybe you're getting migraines more often than you used to? If so, you're not alone. Across the UK, an estimated 10 million people suffer from migraines, and hospital admissions for this debilitating condition have jumped by 20% in just the last 5 years. That's an extra 40,000 people needing hospital care for migraines in England this past year alone. So what's going on? Well, scientists are now pointing to a surprising and concerning culprit: climate change. Leading experts are warning that the shifts in our global climate could be a major driver behind this worrying rise in severe recurring headaches. Dr. Danielle Willower, a neurology expert at the University of Colorado, recently put it plainly: climate change is amplifying environmental conditions that are already known migraine triggers. It's a bold claim, but a growing body of evidence is starting to back it up. So, today we're going to dive deep into this connection. We'll explore how rising temperatures, wild weather swings, and even the stress of living in a changing world might be making migraines more frequent and more intense for millions of people. And importantly, we'll also look at what you can do to manage your symptoms in the face of these new environmental challenges. First, let's talk about the known triggers. If you suffer from migraines, you probably have a list of things you try to avoid. For many, that list includes specific environmental factors. Things like high temperatures, big temperature swings from one day to the next, poor air quality, and changes in barometric pressure. That feeling when a storm is rolling in are all well-established triggers. What climate change is doing is basically putting these triggers on steroids. It's making them more common and more extreme. Take heat, for example. We're all experiencing hotter summers and more frequent heat waves. A study presented at the American Headache Society's annual meeting found a direct link. By analyzing patient diaries, researchers discovered that for every 1.2 degrees Celsius rise in outdoor temperature, there was a 6% increase in headaches on that same day. Professor Vincent Martin, a co-author of the study, summarized it perfectly. If you have global warming and higher temperatures to begin with, you're going to have more headache. It's a simple, direct correlation. The hotter it gets, the more our heads hurt. And it's not just about the heat. Climate change is also making our weather patterns more turbulent and unpredictable. More low-pressure systems, more intense storms, and more rapid shifts in humidity and pressure. These fluctuations are a nightmare for migraine sufferers. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say they can feel a storm coming in their head? It's not just an old wives' tale. Changes in atmospheric pressure can directly impact the delicate balance within our bodies, leading to the onset of a migraine attack. A 2023 study from Japan confirmed this, finding that headaches were more common on days with higher humidity, more rain, and significant changes in barometric pressure. It's like our bodies are becoming hypersensitive weather forecasters. One person who feels this very personally is Christian Ovidiu Marin, a 34-year-old CEO from Bucharest. He shared his story with National Geographic, explaining that he used to get a migraine only once every few months. But about 4 years ago, that changed dramatically. His attacks became more frequent and much more intense. Crucially, he noticed this shift coincided with changes in his local environment. He said, "My migraines have become more frequent and intense, often with sharp, pounding pain, nausea, and light sensitivity. It's not just heat either. Storm fronts, humidity shifts, and sudden pressure changes also seem to trigger symptoms." His description is hauntingly relatable for many. He even said, "It's like my body has become its own weather barometer, warning me that something's changing before the forecast even updates." This personal experience is backed by larger studies too. A massive study involving over 400,000 people in the UK found that migraines were more common not just in extreme summer heat, but also during extreme winter cold. It seems our brains are sensitive to any deviation from the norm, any temperature that puts our bodies under stress. But the physical environment is only half of the story. There's also a powerful psychological component. Stress is one of the most common and potent migraine triggers known to science. And let's be honest, living through the climate crisis is stressful. There's a growing awareness of something called climate anxiety, the stress and worry associated with extreme weather events, the disruption to our daily lives, and the general uncertainty about our planet's future. Experts believe this rising tide of anxiety could be another major factor fueling the increase in migraines. It creates a vicious cycle. The weather triggers a migraine, and the stress about what the changing weather means for our future makes us even more susceptible to the next attack. So, what exactly is happening inside our heads during a migraine? It's not just a bad headache, it's a complex neurological condition. It's thought to involve abnormal brain signaling, changes in blood flow to the brain, and the release of inflammatory chemicals. These chemicals in turn irritate nerves and affect pain pathways, causing the characteristic throbbing pain, nausea, and sensitivity to light and sound. Migraines affect about 1 in 7 people in the UK, but they don't affect everyone equally. Women are 3 times more likely to suffer than men, and for many people of working age, it's one of the leading causes of disability, forcing them to miss work and social events and impacting their quality of life. Now, I want to be clear. Scientists are still cautious. They point out that the evidence linking climate change directly to the rise in migraines is, for now, correlational. This means they observe 2 things happening at the same time: rising global temperatures and rising migraine rates, but they can't yet prove definitively that one is causing the other. However, the pile of evidence is getting bigger and more convincing every year. The mechanisms are plausible, the patient reports are consistent, and the data from multiple studies all points in the same direction. It's a theory that makes a lot of sense. With all this information, it can feel a bit overwhelming, even helpless. But the good news is there are things you can do. The world of migraine treatment has made huge strides in recent years. For a long time, the main treatments were triptans, which you take at the start of an attack, and preventative medications like beta blockers or certain anti-seizure drugs. These are still very important and effective for many people. But the really exciting development has been a new class of treatments that target a specific molecule called CGRP, which stands for calcitonin gene-related peptide. Scientists discovered that CGRP plays a key role in the pain and inflammation process of a migraine attack. So they developed drugs that specifically block its action? For many patients who previously struggled to find any relief, these CGRP inhibitors have been a game changer. They've been shown to significantly reduce both the frequency and the severity of migraine attacks, giving people their lives back. If you have chronic migraines and haven't discussed CGRP treatments with your doctor, it's definitely a conversation worth having. Beyond medication, there are also powerful non-drug approaches you can take to manage your condition, especially in the context of our changing climate. The first and most important step is to become a detective of your own body. Identify your personal triggers. Keep a diary. Note the weather, what you ate, your stress levels, and your sleep patterns on days you get a migraine. You might notice that a hot, humid day after a poor night's sleep is a guaranteed recipe for a headache. Once you know your triggers, you can take steps to avoid or mitigate them. During hot weather, staying well hydrated is absolutely crucial. Dehydration is a major trigger, and it's easy to get dehydrated in the heat without even realizing it. Carry a water bottle with you everywhere. Try to stay in air-conditioned environments during the peak heat of the day if you can. Maintaining a regular sleep pattern is also incredibly important. Our brains love routine, and going to bed and waking up at the same time every day can help stabilize the brain activity that can go haywire during a migraine. And finally, managing stress. This is a big one, and it's easier said than done, I know. But finding healthy ways to cope with stress, whether it's through mindfulness, meditation, gentle exercise like yoga or walking, or simply making time for hobbies you enjoy, can make a huge difference. If you're feeling overwhelmed by anxiety about the climate or anything else, please don't hesitate to talk to someone. Speaking with a therapist or a counselor can provide you with tools to manage that anxiety, which can, in turn, help reduce your migraine burden. Remember, taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health. So, while the link between climate change and migraines is a sobering reality, it's not a message of despair, it's a call to action. It's a call for greater awareness from the medical community, more research into these environmental connections, and most importantly, It's a reminder for all of us who suffer from migraines to be proactive. By understanding these new environmental challenges, working closely with our doctors to find the right treatment plan, and adopting lifestyle strategies to build our resilience, we can fight back and regain control. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content on health and science. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you noticed a link between the weather and your headaches? What strategies have you found that help? Let's share our experiences and learn from each other. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.